Welcome into Statesboro, Georgia for Game 2 of today's doubleheader, the Kingsmen and Georgia Premier. Pleased to bring you this one live. We apologize about the connection issues that prevented Game 1 from going live. We switched a couple of things around, and we're ready to bring you some baseball. Game time is just a few minutes away. Going to step aside from the audio for a couple minutes while we get everything ready to go. But the Kingsmen looking to win Game 3 of the series and avoid the sweep. We'll talk more about game number 2, the first game of today's doubleheader, later on in the show. That game has been recorded, and it will be posted within the next 24 hours once I'm able to get in front of a good Wi-Fi signal back in Gastonia. But for now, we'll get ready for Game 3. You can go over to Game Changer and read about that one. Go through the box score if you do desire. And we'll get ready to turn the page to a new baseball game. The Kingsmen looking for a win in Statesboro when we come back. All right, then. It's time for Game 2 of today's doubleheader. Griffin Leonard here with you on the call for Kingsmen and Georgia Premier. Final game of the week for either team. And the Kingsmen varsity group looking for a win to salvage this Statesboro trip against the Red Sox of Georgia Premier. Caden McNeil leads things off as he has all 3 games of the series, and he swings through the first pitch of the game. Pitcher on the mound for Georgia Premier is Heath Couch, the right-hander. In the infield alongside him is Bankston, McBride, Galloway, and Helms, with Williams doing the catching. That's a ball off the plate to make it 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Caden McNeil thought about squaring and called for the strike. One ball and 2 strikes after the home plate umpire said that he offered up that bunt. And McNeil watches it go by in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The sun is out to play here in Statesboro. 2 strikes to Caden McNeil with Eli Thomas on deck. And Caden strikes out. So Eli Thomas, the next hitter, did not play in either of the first 2 games of this series, but he plays second and hits second in place of Logan Daniel, who heads to the bench for this contest. Montgomery Hart behind him, and then Christian Burney, who moves from the designated hitter spot to third base. For a ball, Eli Thomas ahead 1-0. And I'll correct that and say Christian Burney doing the catching in the last game, not the designated hitter. 0-1. Thomas bunts one down the line, but it bounces foul to make it 1-1.
Ain't nothing by it. Stay back.
Pitch to Thomas. And he's called out. So it was 0-2. Did not see a strike call on that first pitch to Thomas, but it... Okay, so it was right. 1 ball and 2 strikes after the swing and a miss. After the ball was called on the outside corner. It was 1-1 before that curveball. We'll see what he goes to now. Back to the curve, and this time he gets him swinging. So 2 outs, Montgomery Hart the next to hit with the bases empty. Back-to-back strikeouts for Heath Couch. Since coming into the ball game, the outfield behind him, Seeley, Burrows, and Richards. First pitch to Gummy is high of the zone for ball 1. One ball, no strikes, 2 away, and a scoreless tie. Gummy punches it foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. Christian Burney retrieves in the on-deck circle. The third baseman will bat next if the inning continues. Harris Clark is the pitcher for the Kingsmen here in Game 3. That one outside to make it 2-1. Harris was not projected to start this third game. It was supposed to be Nehemiah Barnes, but Nemo pitched 2 innings in relief in this last game of the doubleheader. 3-1 after that one missed outside. The first game of the doubleheader saw the Kingsmen lose in 6 innings via the mercy rule. 12-2 was the final. 5 pitchers on the mound for the Kingsmen. They try to get this first inning started with a 2-out walk. Gummy finds his way aboard, and here is Burney. Christian Burney on with 2 away, a man on first, and zeros up on the scoreboard. Christian Burney looking for a big day at the plate. Has run into some struggles so far in the series at the plate since having a big day to wrap up the prospect series. Took a ball at the head for ball 1. He got out of the way of it. On deck is Dino Catani if this inning continues further. 1-0 pitch. Runner on the move. Up the middle for Burney and into center for a base hit. Montgomery Hart was initially getting the wave, but Preston Hudak changes his mind. And it's runners on second and first with 1 away. Christian Burney hits it hard. There's the Kingsmen bats, and we'll see if they continue to have been woken up here in this last game of the series. Just not the potential of these Kingsmen bats being shown so far in Statesboro. Here's one of the guys that would love to find a big day here to wrap up this series. 1-0. As Catani takes it high. He hit a couple balls hard, but a little bit under a couple of his fly outs. He looks at that one high of his own for ball 2. So the Kingsmen have a chance to grab the opening run. They grabbed the opening run in the first game of today's doubleheader. Were unable to keep pace as that ball ripped into right and beyond the first baseman, Helms, getting the wave. Montgomery Hart, the throw goes to third instead. It bounces off the glove of the third baseman, Bankston, and everybody's safe. It's an RBI single for Dino Catani, who has given the Kingsmen the lead here in the first. Ripped that one through the first base side of the infield. It was a tough play for Torrin Helms, and it'll go down as a base hit to give the Kingsmen the opening lead for the second game in a row. Brody Winant hitting with runners on the corners and 2 away. Brody watches the curveball go by. Catani on the move, and he swiped second without a throw. 0-1 as that curveball found the zone for a called strike. Runners on second and third for Brody Winant here in the first inning. 0-1 pitch. And he chased it to go down 0-2. In the bottom of the first, we'll see Zoran Galloway, Casey McBride, and DJ Bankston, the same 3 we've seen lead it off for Georgia Premier this entire series. 0-2. And Brody learned from the 0-1, watches that one go by low, and it's 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Kingsmen looking to add to what has been a productive first inning. Chance to do so. And Brody rips it to short. Fielded cleanly by McBride. He goes to first, and the stretch and catch is made to end the inning. So the Kingsmen grab 1, leave a couple stranded, but they will take the early lead. 1-0. We'll head to the bottom of the first here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the first, the Kingsmen grab the early lead here in Statesboro. Harris Clark to the mound to try to shut down Georgia Premier. First pitch to Zorn Galloway is poked to the first base side, stopped by Gummy Hart, ranging over Clark, and the call out at the first base bag. And the first out is made 3-1 for the first. One out here in the bottom of the first. Umpires have switched positions. They're now in their original positions from the series opener yesterday. Clark, a ground ball to the third baseman, Christian Burney. He comes up throwing, but sails it into right field. Off of the fence. And that ball, which didn't appear to leave the field of play, was called out of play. And the runner heads to second. They had him on the throw, had everything been okay. I'm wondering what that could have hit to draw the out-of-play call, because it hit off the fence. Either way, the error is assessed to Christian Burney for the high throw from third, and Casey McBride on second. Runner on second, one away. It's DJ Bankston, the three-hole hitter. Inside, and it hit him. Runners on second and first. Casey McBride on second. Bankston on first. Here is Williams. And he tips the ball into the glove of Catron. Foul tip, strike one. One away here. Fourth hitter of the inning for Georgia Premier. Final game of this series. The Kingsmen looking for a win here on the road trip. Foul ball for strike number two. After Williams, it'll be Lamar Seeley. Runners on the move. Clark just misses the outside corner. Looked really good, but did not get the call, and it's a double steal to put runners on second and third. One ball and two strikes. And now runners on second and third with one away. Clark working with two on Williams. And misses outside with that slider. Two balls and two strikes. One away. Big hitter here early for Harris Clark. And he misses again outside with the slider.
All right here, Harris.
3-2 pitch. Fastball ripped at second off of Eli Thomas. And he is unable to barehand that and make the play. The run scores to tie the game. Lamar Seeley hitting with runners on the corners and one out. In a 1-1 ball game, Georgia Premier has answered the Kingsmen's opening run. Looking for more here, and a swing and a miss from Lamar Seeley makes it 0-1. Quick throw over to first. Hart applies the tag. Back safely goes North Williams, or rather his courtesy runner. Williams reached on that error to the second baseman. Hit hard right at Eli Thomas, unable to come up with the baseball. 0-1 Harris Clark comes set. Squaring a bunt, now throwing down to first Catron, but back safely goes that runner 0-2 as it was in the zone. Maybe a little safety squeeze on for Georgia Premier. Bunt not down, and now Harris Clark has the hitter 0-2. 1-1 ball game. Clark's 2-strike pitch. Runner on the move. Curveball just outside. Throws down to second. Good throw. In time to get him. Thomas got the tag down, and North Williams caught stealing here for the second out of the inning, and that runner stayed put on third. Excellent throw from Jack Catron to nab the runner, and now they're a strike away from being out of the inning. 1-2 with 2 outs. Clark out of the windup. And misses outside. Seeley taking that one, and Catron using every inch of that glove to reel in the baseball. 2-2 is the count. Even to Seeley, the left fielder. Amari Burrows is on deck. Shall the inning continue? 2-2. High. And the high fastball not swung at by Seeley, so the count is full. In the second for the Kingsmen, it will be Catron, Griffith, and Daniel. Logan Daniel moving from second to short between games. 3-2. Tipped into the glove of Catron. He holds on, and the inning is over. 1-1 as the teams trade opening punches. We head to the second in a tie ball game. Here in the second, 1-1 is the score. The Kingsmen and Georgia Premier all knotted up at 1. Jack Catron is the leadoff man, and he pops it up into center field. Coming in on it is Burrows. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. The Kingsmen hitters have been aggressive today. They've been swinging and putting the ball all over the yard. They just really have not had much to show for. A.J. Griffith, the next hitter. Outside corner strike to the DH, A.J. Oh, 1. And Griffith takes inside. Even count, 1-1 pitch to AJ 47. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 pitch. Griffith ahead in the count. Out of the windup, the pitch. And Griffith took it inside again. 3 balls and a strike. Keith Couch back on the mound for his second inning work after giving up a run on a couple of base hits. And he starts off the second with a walk after the fly out. 1 out and a base runner for the Kingsmen. 1 out here in the second. Logan Daniel is the 9 hole. He was in the 2 spot in game number 1. And now Ferd steps in with a man on first and 1 out. Runner on the move. A.J. Griffith hustling down to second. The throw is not in time. A.J. Griffith has himself a stolen base here in the second to get himself in scoring position. Griffith in scoring position with 1 away. 1-0 count to Daniel. Logan Daniel takes on the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. 1-1. Galloway gets off of second base, and Daniel chops it foul. 1-2. Kenny McNeil is on deck. Leadoff man for the Kingsmen. Had reached to start off the game in the first 2 games of the doubleheader, struck out to start off this one. 1-2 with Daniel digging in. Pops up the curveball. McBride calling off the rest of his infield, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So here's Caden McNeil. Big spot for one of the team's average leaders. We would love some 2-out production to give the Kingsmen the lead right back. They've only led once in this game. They have only led twice in this series. And that curveball's in the strike zone high for 0-1. Bottom of the second, we'll see Georgia Premier bring up 6, 7, and 8. Burrows, Richards, and their designated hitter, Tyler. In the dirt, 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. The count remains here as McNeil digs back in, and Couch from the stretch throws the fastball outside edge to make it 1-2. Two strikes to Caden McNeil trying to keep this inning alive. And he takes that curveball in the dirt. Good take to even the count at 2 apiece. Here's Clark's going to come back out for his second inning of work. An unearned run in the first inning. 2-2. McNeil pops it up foul. If there's one thing that you can point to in the statistics that could have changed the direction of this series, it has just been how many unearned runs the Kingsmen have conceded over the course of these 3 games. Already another one here, but the game is tied. 2 strikes to McNeil, and he fights it off. A good swing defensively to stay on the curveball. And McNeil still alive with 2 strikes. Eli Thomas is on deck. It's the Kingsmen at the top of the order for the second time in as many innings. 2-2. McNeil rips it to short. Griffith was the screen there, and it got by McBride. A.J. Griffith will score. How about the base running as Caden McNeil finds a way to give the Kingsmen the lead. A.J. Griffith putting himself in between the ground ball and the infielder. Did so in a legal manner, didn't interfere with the play, but served as one heck of a screen, and it's 2-1. So Eli Thomas hitting. 2 outs in the inning. Kingsmen have a 1-run advantage. And a quick throw to check on McNeil at first. And now I'll say, if A.J. Griffith stole a bag in the second inning, why won't Caden McNeil? As they look for more and more offense. The game that they are desperate to win after the showing in the first game of today's doubleheader. Thomas down the line, and fair! McNeil rounds second, heading for third. Eli Thomas is going to gun for second when that throw came in to third base, and Eli Thomas has himself a base hit. The Kingsmen putting offense together, and you love to see it. Montgomery Hart at the plate with a 1-run lead and a chance to cash in a couple more. The Kingsmen stranded runners on second and third in inning number 1. They love to knock these ones in. 1-0 after that curveball left outside. In there to even the count at 1-1. After today's second game, the Kingsmen will grab some food and then hit the road for Gastonia. A weekend off after a lift, and I believe the team practices on Sunday all together as one once again. As Hart tips it into the glove of the catcher Williams for a 1-2 count. Dummy Hart had a walk and came in to score the Kingsmen's first run. See what he can do here. 2 strikes. And he fouls the ball off to stay alive. If the inning continues, we'll see Christian Burney. Out of the windup, 2-strike pitch. Hart grounds it foul first base side. Once again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Montgomery Hart sits in and watches it go. It's high for ball 2. Second time through the order for the Kingsmen. It's been successful so far. Both runners on base. 2-2. Curveball poked foul by Hart. Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs to Montgomery Hart. In the dirt, blocked, Caden McNeil. And now running back to third, tag there, not in time, but very close at the third base bag. McNeil was all over it, ready to sprint home if that ball got away from the catcher. And then it was very close, getting back safely to third. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Montgomery Hart. The Kingsmen looking for another here in the second. Hart rips it into center. Right there, and making the catch is Burrows to end the inning. Hung up a little bit, but the Kingsmen grab a run. 2-1 here as we go to the bottom of the second on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the second, Harris Clark back on the mound for the Kingsmen. A 2-1 lead. The offense has come alive a little bit here in the game to wrap up the week. That's in there. A fastball from Harris Clark in there to make it 0-1 to Amari Burrows. Out of the windup, here's the 0-1 from Harris. Missed the letters by about an inch, and it's 1-1. Clark digging in, has his sign, and now begins the forward motion. Slider away, 2-1. Had a lot of hook to it. Could not find the zone or get the swing. Burrows, then Richards for Georgia Premier. 2-1 to 3-1 as that one is inside. I'd like to thank you for joining us across this week, whether it be the Gardner-Webb series or the games out here in Statesboro. 3-1. Ground ball, third base side, hooking and hitting the grass, and because of it, going foul. 3-2. That ball was chopped fair, but it hit the lip and bounced straight to the left. We do apologize once again for not being able to get game one of this doubleheader out live due to some connectivity issues in the area. Luckily, able to get things going for this second game. We hope that maybe some of you were able to watch the Georgia Premier Game Changer live stream. If that was a possibility for some of you, as the 3-2 just misses, and it's a leadoff walk. One ball and no strikes to Julian Richards, batting with a man on first and nobody out. 2-1 ball game. The Kingsmen leading Georgia Premier. Quick throw over to first, back safely just ahead of the tag from Hart is Burrows. Tyler Knowles on deck, Julian Richards at the plate. One and 0. Harris fields outside, throw down to first, no tag, 2 balls and no strikes. 6, 7, 8 here for the Georgia Premier Red Sox here in the second inning. Varsity baseball on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. 2-0. Outside corner fastball to make it 2-1. Two balls and one strike, nobody out. The Kingsmen infield of Bernie, Daniel, Thomas, and Hart looking to turn a pair. Catron sets up shop. 2-1 pitch. Outside corner again. Same spot, same result. 2-2. Outfield for the Kingsmen today, Dino Catani is the left fielder. Kenny McNeil is in center and Brody Winan is in right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chance for Harris to get his first out of the second. 2-strike pitch, runner on the move, outside, throw down to second, high from Catron and into center. Kaden McNeil scoops it up. It's a stolen base for Amari Burrows. Three and 2 now. Runner on second, nobody out. The pitch from Harris Clark. High and away for ball 4. Another walk for Georgia Premier. They have runners on second and first. It's back-to-back walks to start off the inning. And speaking of walks, Coach Joe Hudak making a walk to the mound for a mound visit. Step aside here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. 2-1, they lead. Back here after the mound visit. Runners on second and first. Nobody out for Tyler Knowles, who's squaring the bunt before the pitch is thrown. Gets it down hard third base side. Harris Clark fields. No throw, and the bases are loaded. Excellent bunt down the line from Tyler Knowles. Christian Burney was back because the ideal place at third, and Harris Clark, who made a great ranging play to get over there, just did not have an opportunity to make the out at home, or at first, excuse me. So the bases are loaded, nobody out. Harris Clark did the right thing there, a little fake to first, and then turned to see if the runner at third was too far off. Now the bases are loaded and nobody is out. Breaking ball sits in there to Torrin Helms for strike number one. Helms did not play in game number 2 of this series. So he's back in the lineup in the 9 spot in the series finale. Georgia Premier looking for a sweep over the Kingsmen Varsity. The black and gold trying to find one to make this road trip worth it. 0-1. Curveball in there again. He's gone back-to-back spinners, and he's ahead 0-2. 0-2 after the breaker. Goes back to the slider. It's upstairs for ball 1. No curveball in the arsenal for Harris Clark, so that spinner is that slider break. It's got a pretty good amount of hook to it. 1-2. Goes to the fastball, misses low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in the second. First hit of the game for Georgia Premier coming on that bunt. Prior, they'd had 5 base runners, 2 walks, 2 errors, and a hit by pitch. 2-2. Did not get the call. Trying to front door him with the slider.
Definitely down the middle.
3 balls and 2 strikes after that pitch missed inside. And Helms gonna reset and step back into the box. 3-2. We'll see what Clark can do with the count full. And he gets him on the outside half. 1 away. Both pitching coaches down in the dugout, Nick Osborne and Coach Joe Hudak, expressing their delight at that Harris Clark strike 3 call. Gian Garibaldi up with the bases loaded and 1 out. Popped up foul for strike 1. Infield back with the bases loaded and 1 away. A 1-run lead for the Kingsmen. 0-1. Up and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Laced into right, that's down for a base hit. Ryman has it. The throw coming into the cutoff man. Station to station go the runners. And it's a 1-out single to tie the ball game at 2. He left that one over the outer half of the plate. And Garibaldi with a good piece of hitting to sit on the breaking ball and drive it to the opposite field. It's 2-2 here on the scoreboard. Devin Davidson is the 11-hole hitter. First time the Kingsmen are seeing him at all this season.
Get a good pitch, Devin. Don't chase.
In there for a called strike. Davidson, one of the extra hitters. Georgia Premier batting 11, as they have done all 3 games of this series. Clark out of the windup. Darts the slider in there. 0-2. Zorn Galloway on deck, getting his bat ready in the on-deck circle. See if he is batting with this game tied, or if Georgia Premier will have snatched the lead. 0-2 pitch. On 3 pitches, Devin Davidson strikes out, and there are 2 down in the second. Harris Clark is battling here, despite 2 walks and 2 hits. He now has 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 overall, and it's the top of the order with the bases loaded. Here's Galloway. A ground out to the first baseman his first time. Slider away for ball one. It was that sliding play that Montgomery Hart had made to his backhand side. Clark came off the mound, and it was bang-bang at first base. That was how the Kingsmen got their first out of the game. 1-0. Goes back to the slider, missed low and away, closer. A good chase pitch, but does not get it this time, 2-0. For the Kingsmen in the third, it'll be 4-5-6, Bernie Catani and Wyman. 2-0. In there for a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count.
Hey, Tyler, be ready. Back here.
2-1 pitch. Slider outside corner does not get the call. And it's 3-1. Three balls and a strike after Clark missed just outside. Out of the windup here. And the fastball is blown by Galloway, and it is 3-2. Bases loaded. Clark working out of the windup. Runners will have a head start. 3-2. Way outside for a ball. The runners had the head start, but they will not try to get aggressive. The score now 3-2, though, after the walk brought in a run. Galloway heads to first, and it was Julian Richards who came in to score to give Georgia Premier its first lead of the ball game. Two runs in the inning for the Red Sox. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the second, final game of this 3-game set. Here's Clark trying to work out of the second inning, facing McBride, and he darts a ball just off the outside corner.
Really?
1 ball, no strikes. Clark back out of the windup. And that one missed high to make it ball 2. No bullpen action for the Kingsmen here in the second, trusting Clark to get them out of this inning. 2 runs already across, 3 walks, 2 hits, a couple of strikeouts for Harris. And now 3-0. It got off the glove of Catron into the backstop. It's going to bring home the run. Certainly high, but also certainly catchable. It's 4-2. 3-run inning for Georgia Premier, looking for the series sweep. Runners on second and third now, a 3-0 count against Casey McBride with DJ Bankston on deck. The pitch. And call the ball at the top of the zone. Quick meeting between Catron and Clark. 4-2 is the score. Bases are once again loaded after Harris Clark's 4th walk of the inning. DJ Bankston up at the plate. He was hit by a pitch his first time. No bullpen action for the Kingsmen, but there is some throwing going on behind the Georgia Premier dugout. Clark out of the windup. His first pitch, a slider away. Catron to the dive to make sure it stayed in front. 1-0. Harris, the 1-0 pitch. Inside for ball 2. Hitter's count here for Bankston, who's been quiet this series. And he takes one down the middle for strike number 1. Clark quickly back to work, the 2-1 pitch. Missed the inside corner, and it is 3-1. Here's Clark needing to find the zone here against Bankston. North Williams on deck for the Red Sox. 3-1. And he gets the foul ball off of the foot and into play, 3-2. Runners will once again have a head start.
Stay on them all. You're good. Stay on them all. Don't give in here. Base hit on 4.
Full count. Clark trying to end this second inning. Front doored him with the slider, and there it is. 3 strikeouts in the frame for Harris Clark. A 3-run inning to make it 4-2, but we head to the third. Kingsman offense trying to stay hot when we get back. Back here for the third, as Christian Burney leads things off for the Kingsmen, down 2 runs. Burney's first pitch that he sees is a low and away ball 1 out of the hand of Heath Couch, back out there for his third inning. 1-0. And Burney pops it up foul, first base side and out of play, 1-1. There is a decent amount of tension in the air, just the way that this series has gone. Some frustration boiling over. You do wonder if it will translate to power off the bat as Christian Burney lashes out and hits his second single of the game. Burney is on first with nobody out, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Speaking of singles, Dino Catani singled his last time. He will come up to the plate here with a man on first and nobody out. Burney and Catani were stranded in scoring position in the first. The Kingsmen have stranded runners on second and third in both of the first 2 innings. They have 2 runs, but chances for more as Catani rips it down the first base line, and he's got himself another base hit. Second and first with nobody out. And how about these Kingsmen varsity bats? We're so quiet in the first 2 games, and now we're seeing what they're truly made of. Brody Winan up with runners on second and first and nobody out. Runners on second and first. Brody Winan stepping in. Infield back for Georgia Premier. Winan squares and drops it down, but foul. he had plenty of real estate with the infield not crashing right away on that bunt. It's 0-1. See if he gets another opportunity. Corner is now a little bit more in for Georgia Premier. 0-1. And Wynant pulling back, pops it up, hooking toward Helms at first, but foul. 0-2.
Gotta stand for something to play. Let's go.
0-2 with nobody out here in the third inning. Runners on second and first. Brody Wynant digging in. And he goes after the sweeper and strikes out on 3 pitches. Wynant unable to do the job and get the runners over, so Catron will have runners on second and first with 1 out. Catron at the fly out to center his last time, swinging on the first pitch. He thought about going after that first one, lets it go with the knees for a strike.
Hey, roll it forward. Come on, let's go.
Catron, Griffith, and Daniel. Bottom 3 of the order now up for the Kingsmen with runners on base. 0-1. Catron into right center field. Going back is Richards. Not going to get there. It's in the gap. In between Burrows and Richards as Bernie comes around to score. Catron's into second. The stop sign's on for Dino Catani as we see a RBI double for Jack Catron to bring the lead to just 1.
How about that?
Bernie scores to make it 4-3, and it's second and third with 1 away for A.J. Griffith. Mound visit coming here for Georgia Premier in a 1-run ball game.
AJ. Ready?
What? Watch your forward, baby. Good job, AJ.
There we go. Come on. Get it out. Get it out.
After the mound visit, A.J. Griffith up with 1 away. Griffith walked and stole second his first time, and he lashes out at that first pitch and was out in front behind 0-1. It has been a high-scoring affair so far, runs in every half inning. 4-3 is the current score, and the Kingsmen looking for more. 0-1 pitch. Curveball in there to make it 0-2. Logan Daniel on deck, who popped out to short his first time. We'll see what kind of situation he comes up to the plate in. 0-2. And Griffith fights it off to stay alive. Infield back for Georgia Premier, even though they're up by just 1 with a runner on third. I would suspect Catani will be hustling on any ground ball in the infield. 0-2. And Griffith watches it go, bounces away, but at the third base line. And because of that, Catani doesn't risk anything. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ain't nothing by you. Backside round right now. What's up, AJ?
A.J. Griffith trying to find a way to even up or give the Kingsmen the lead in this ball game. 1-2. A.J. takes high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
All you right.
Come on, buddy.
Final game of 6 this week for the KBA. 3 wins on the prospect level. Varsity trying to avoid 3 losses. 2-2. A.J. Griffith digs in and fights it off again, hitting it into the chest protector of North Williams, the catcher. A good at-bat for A.J. Griffith, looking for some sort of payoff. 2-2. Fastball rips it into left, it's down. Catani will score. To third goes Catron. And A.J. Griffith has given the Kingsmen the equalizer here in the third. It's 4-4. Big day already for A.J. Griffith, and he has knocked the starting pitcher for the Red Sox, Heath Couch, out of this ball game. We'll see a new arm when we come back at a tied game on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back live here, a new pitcher on the mound for Georgia Premier. First pitch to Logan Daniel was in there for a strike from Nathan Newman, the right-hander on the mound in a tie ball game. The Kingsmen have 4 runs on the board. It's a welcome sight to see in a tie ball game here in the third, looking for more with runners on the corners and 1 out. 0-1 to Ferd, and he rips it third base side, but foul. Chopped it to the right side of the third baseman, Bankston. Could not keep it between the lines. It's 0-2. Keaton McNeil is on deck for the Kingsmen. Reached on an error to the shortstop his last time. Here's the 0-2. Outside for ball 1. Nathan Newman trying to get his team 1 step closer to out of this jam. 1-2 pitch. And Ferd fights it off. Daniel with the ground ball, foul behind home plate. A.J. Griffith is on third, or rather on first. Jack Catron is on third. Griffith scored the Kingsmen's 2nd run of this game off of the Caden McNeil ground ball to shortstop. 1-2. Daniel takes low of the knees. 2-2 is the count. Bottom of the third, we'll see 4, 5, 6 for Georgia Premier. North Williams will lead things off. Time has been called by Logan Daniel. And now he steps back in. 2-2. And he chops it foul to the Kingsman dugout. Daniel with a really, really good at-bat. We've seen a couple of them by the bottom of the order in this inning. Catron with the double. Griffith fired off a couple of foul balls before singling to left. The Kingsmen have 4 hits in this inning. Daniel fouls off a bunt, and he is out for the 2nd out of the inning. Katie McNeil is up with 2 away. Runners on third and first. And it is inside for ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Katie McNeil looking to give the Kingsmen the lead. 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 is the count. Runner on the move. McNeil takes. Throw down on one bounce. Tag is there in time to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the third. Tie score here in Statesboro. We'll be right back. So we head to the bottom of the third. The Kingsmen have tied it up at 4, with 2 runs in the third. Harris Clark out for his third inning of work, misses outside. To the backstop it goes against North Williams for ball 1. The Kingsmen for the third inning in a row have stranded a man on third base, but they've put up 4 runs in the opening 3 innings, got themselves right in this game.
Be smart, North. Name come to you.
2 balls and no strikes now, as that one was more competitive but missed the zone from Clark. We'll see who follows up Harris out of the bullpen once his start is concluded. That ball at the letters does not get the call, and it's 3-0. Four-pitch walk to start the inning. North Williams stands at first with nobody out. Lamar Seeley the next to hit. He struck out swinging his last time. That ended the first inning. Clark lifts the leg and misses behind the hitter for ball 1, just slipping with that slider right now. He missed one a couple feet outside that he held on to too long, and then that one just popped out early. And it is 1-0. So Harris looking to lock in here with a man on first, nobody out. Seeley had squared on that first pitch. We'll see if he does so again. Bernie in at the grass. No bunt, and a hard hit ball past Bernie at third and into left. Seeley singles, puts men on first and second with nobody out. Here's Amari Burrows. Burrows has himself a walk. He walked to start off the second inning.
Tell me you're in.
Bunt to the pitcher, and it's off the glove of Montgomery Hart, and now they've got the man on third and a rundown. Bernie throws to Catron. Catron running back Williams. Now the tag by Hart in time to get the man at third. And there's runners on second and first, and after all of that, it works out for the Kingsmen. But certainly not pretty. The bunt defenses have been a problem. The play will be scored a 3-5-2-3 putout, or fielder's choice, I guess. And now there's runners on second and first with one out. Slider finds the zone for Harris Clark to Julian Richards. That's one of the weirder bunts that I think we've seen this season. The bobble was what enabled the Kingsmen to even have a shot at an out on that play. There's a swing and a miss to make it 0-2. He's got the hitter in an 0-2 hole here, and Richards having to fight with Tyler Knowles in the on-deck circle. Here's Clark with runners on second and first. Glances that way, comes home. And struck him out on 3 pitches. Julian Richards down for the second out of the inning. And this inning has turned itself around after a couple early base runners. Tyler Knowles up. He singled and scored last time. And we'll see if Clark can get 3 in a row. Tie ball game in Statesboro in the third. First pitch from Harris. Missed the inside corner on the slider, and it's 1-0. Seeley off a second, Burrows on first. Seeley shuffling back and forth. And a pitch inside to Harris Clark, 2 balls and no strikes. Knowles had tried to call time just as Clark was coming to the plate, and the umpire denied him that request. Clark missed, and it's 2-0. In the fourth for the Kingsmen, it will be the top of the order, McNeil, Thomas, and Hart. Just missed the outside corner for 3 balls and no strikes. Four-pitch walk to Tyler Knowles.
Aggressive on a good pitch, make them come to you. Don't help them out.
Coach Joe Hudak can have a chat with his starting pitcher. Torrin Holmes is coming to the plate with the bases loaded. We'll step aside for one moment. Bases are loaded and 2 are out here in the third. Harris Clark throws the first pitch that's fouled off by Tord Helms. The count is 0-1. Varsity head coach Preston Hudak out to retrieve that foul ball and unleashes a arsenal of baseballs over to the on-deck circle. 0-1 with the bases loaded. Harris winds and fires a fastball right by the first baseman at the plate. It's 0-2. Runs have been scored in every half inning of this ball game so far, but the Kingsmen have the chance to keep the scoreboard knotted at 4 here in the bottom of the third. Clark out of the windup. The 0-2 to Helms. Got him! Throws him looking with the slider. It's the second time Helms has gone down with the bat on his shoulder today, and it is 4-4 as we head to the fourth here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.
You gotta be good to you.
One ball, no strikes to Caden McNeil here to start the fourth inning. Tie ball game, top of the order for the Kingsmen. McNeil takes a swing and comes up empty for the count, which is now 1-1. Fouls that one off to make it 1-2. That one's in the dirt to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Griffin Leonard here on the call for you today. The final game of the series between the Kingsmen and Georgia Premier. Caden McNeil, the center fielder, is 0 for 2, reached on an error and pokes one into right center field. Going to be a tough play for Burrows and Richards, but it hangs up long enough for Burrows to make his way over to the gap and make the catch. Fly out for McNeil and 1 out here in the fourth. One down here in the fourth. Eli Thomas had a double his last time. He comes back up to the plate and sees a ball downstairs for ball 1. The youngest by grade of anyone on this team, and I do believe the youngest by age as well. Outside for ball 2. Who knew he had some extra base hit power in him, huh? As he motored around to second his last time to the plate. 2-0 with Gummy Hart on deck. Inside, got out of the way, 3 balls and no strikes. Wear it. 4-4 is the score here at the campus of Georgia Premier. And it is 3-1 now to Thomas. 3-1. He grounds it to short. McBride has trouble with it. It's into center. Eli Thomas has got himself a board on the fielding error by the shortstop. Second error for Casey McBride today in this second game. And it's Gummy Hart batting with 1 on and 1 out in a tie ball game. Kingsmen have scored in every inning so far and look to reclaim the lead for the first time since the top of the second, if they can score here. 4-4 in the fourth. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday afternoon in Georgia. First pitch to Montgomery Hart. He takes it for a strike outside half of the strike zone, and it's 0-1. Knees bent in the left-hand batter's box for Montgomery. Throw over to first to check on Thomas. He's back safely. Christian Burney on deck for the Kingsmen. Tie score here in Statesboro. Pitch to Hart. Inside, off the plate. Now they throw to first. Thomas is back safely. The tag was late. Brody Wynant had taken a stroll down in the bullpen. He's back now walking into the dugout with PJ Olvera. Brody is in right field and in the batting order right now, so I assume it was a pretty shortened bullpen session. Ball off the plate. 2 balls and a strike is the count. Thomas off of first base. And the pitch from the stretch misses inside, 3-1. It's Burney, then Catani, and then Winan. Some power bats at the plate and beyond here for the Kingsmen. Hitters count for Hart. Runner on the move, and he cranks it to second, right at Galloway, who was trotting over to second base. But because of the ground ball and the runner on the move, no chance for 2. Thomas has gotten himself in scoring position off of the ground ball out. And here is Christian Burney, who has been on fire in this ball game.
On 8, make a play, let's go.
Eli Thomas at second base, Burney at the plate. First pitch. And Burney up the middle into center. Fielded by Burrows. Thomas getting the wave. The throw to home is on one bounce. No tag, and safe is the call as the ball was on the ground. Burney into second on the throw. RBI single has given the Kingsmen back the lead, and they're up by 1. Third hit of the game for Christian Burney, and he is on an absolute tear.
We got 2.
First pitch coming up here to Dino Catani. The Kingsmen up 5-4 in Statesboro, and Catani hits one off of the catcher, 0-1. Catani also 2 hits in 2 so far for the game. Burney made it 3 for 3. We'll see what Dino can do. The left-handed hitter out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Let's go Rocket League.
0-1 with Burney on second. McBride backs off. The pitch is off the plate outside, and the count is 1-1. It stayed pretty breezy today in Georgia. Burney gets another step at second, and the pitch comes home. The run on the ball was away from the hitter, and Catani could not stay back on it enough. 1-2. It ran outside. Kingsmen are up 5-4 in this ball game. Catani trying to add to it. 1-2. Off the plate outside, went back to it. 2-2 to Dino. Winding on deck if the inning continues. The pitch to the lefty. Downstairs, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dino Catani's played in both games today. Played first base in game number 1, and now the left fielder. 3-2. High for ball 4. Has been consistent both sides. That top of the zone has been hard to find. Catani gets the ball 4 call, and the walk is issued. So second and first, Winan at the plate with 2 away. First pitch off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. Brody Winan, 0 for 2, looking for a big at-bat. Takes it at the knees, and the count is 1-1. Harris Clark pitched the first 3 innings of this one for the Kingsmen on the mound. We'll see if Harris comes back out for the 4th, if it's Winan, or if it's maybe somebody else. 1-1. And Winan chops at third base side. Tough play for McBride. Comes up throwing. The throw sails high and into the Georgia Premier dugout. Christian Burney scores as a result. Landon Catani stands at third, and Brody Winan is in to second. And if that is scored, regardless of if it scored a hit and an error or just an error, that is the 3rd error on the shortstop, Casey McBride. Jack Catron up. He had a double his last time. 6-4 lead for the Kingsmen, looking for more. Runners on second and third. Outside, runner coming to the plate. Catani sprinting and finds his left foot on that bag for yet another run. Wild pitch makes it 7-4. It's a 3 spot for the Kingsmen, the most they've scored in an inning in this series. 7-4. They have a 3-run lead, and Catron has the bat in his hands, a 2-0 count. Tough inning for Nathan Newman, trying to work out of it. Out of the windup, fires home a fastball that's tipped foul. 2 balls and a strike. Ground ball third base side, off the glove of the third baseman, and a 1 bounce throw to first is not in time. Another run scores for the Kingsmen. One more run comes in. We hope you were able to see the majority of that play. Apologies, the camera had a slight problem. The wind playing a critical role in today's ball game in more ways than one. So Jack Catron finds his way aboard. That's the 4th run of the inning for the Kingsmen. Here's A.J. Griffith. He's had a big day at the plate so far. Takes ball 1 low. One 0, now 2-0 as it's low of the zone to A.J. 2-0. Outside corner fastball to make it 2-1. Two balls and one strike as shade encompasses the field here in Statesboro. Runner on first. And the pitch in the dirt gets away from the catcher, Williams. First to second goes Cajun on the wild pitch. It's 3-1.
Good job, man. Good job. You're good, Nate. Right here. Let's go.
3 balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the inning.
Good, Jack. Good. Good there.
Ground ball first base side and foul, 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes, 2 away here in the 4th.
One more.
And Griffith lifts it into center field. Going back on it is Burrows, and he has it. 2 in the inning. A huge 4 runs for the Kingsmen. See them take a 4-run lead. Production from top to bottom. We go to the bottom half, and the Kingsmen back to the defense when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Go to the bottom of the 4th. Brody Winant is the new man on the mound for the Kingsmen, replacing Harris Clark. His first assignment is 10, 11, and 1. First pitch hit in the air to center field. Campy and McNeil, 2 pitches, 1 out as Gian Giarbaldi flies out for out number 1. 2 pitches, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. The Kingsmen had 4 runs of their own in the top half, their biggest lead of this series, and they're looking to keep it. Devin Davidson, the next to hit against Wynant. Outside for ball 1. A good 3 innings for Harris Clark. He gave up 4 runs in the end. The only big thing that'll stand out on the statistics page is the walks. That one misses just low for ball number 2. In total, Harris Clark had 6 walks in the contest. But despite that, did a good job of working out of some tough jams on the mound for the black and gold. 3 balls and no strikes. Is that one just low from Brody? Wynant started the game in right field. And right down the middle for a called strike. Dino Catani has moved from left to right field, and Matt De La Cruz is into the game in left. We'll see how that shakes up the batting order. That one off the plate outside, and a walk to the bottom hitter in the order to bring up Galloway in the top with the man on and the man out. Davidson on first. The extra hitter reached with the walk. Zorn Galloway walked his last time. He's 0 for 1. Brody out of the stretch. Fires home an outside corner fastball. Got it over for a called strike. Low 80s on that first pitch fastball from Wynant. Had some good zip to it on the outside edge. Spiked that slider in the dirt, blocked by Catron, and the runner not moving, 1-1. One and one. Ground ball, third base side. Reaching for it is Daniel. He's got it. Long throw to first and no chance, as it's an infield single for Zorn Galloway. Put it where they aren't. That's what they say. And there's runners on second and first with only 1 out for Casey McBride. Time called, so no pitch. Wynant walking back to the mound after that one. No other games in the ABA today in either the prospect or the varsity divisions. The only game across the entire ABA here on this Friday. Foul ball to make it 0-1. Georgia Premier's premier team. It sounds like I'm saying that twice, but I'm not. Had a good week against Wellington Sports Academy, winning 2 games in a row against the team from Florida. 11-0 on Wednesday, 3-0 on Tuesday. So a good week for the higher teams of both of these ball clubs. 0-1 with 1 out. A 4-run lead for the Kingsmen. Looking to keep things going. Brody Wynant on the mound trying to nip this inning in the bud. 0-1. A ripped line drive down the third base line, but foul. 0-2. McBride at the plate. 0 for 1, reached on an error and walked. He has accounted for 3 fielding errors or throwing errors defensively in this ball game. Now facing an 0-2 count. Winant trying to get his second out since coming in for Harris Clark. Clark comes set at the belt, glances at second a couple of times, and slides home. Foul ball off the end of the bat to keep it at 0-2.
Let's go, Casey, come on. See him all, that boy, come on, stay middle, see him all.
Brody Winant back on the mound. First reliever for the Kingsmen. And now fires home. Another foul ball. McBride keeps fighting here. DJ Bankston on deck to face Brody Winant next. 8-4 the current score here in Statesboro. Still 0-2. Winant continuing to fight for that third strike. And gets the slider popped up on the infield fly as Logan Daniel makes the catch at shortstop. DJ Bankston with 2 on and 2 out, a big spot for the 3-hole hitter. Was hit by a pitch and struck out so far in this game. He is hitless in the series. Stark contrast to when the Kingsmen faced him in East Cobb when he was 2 for 2 and reached, or rather 2 for 3, but reached all 4 times he was at the plate. 1-0 as that ball rides inside out of the hand of Winant. Bankston in the 3-hole for Georgia Premier. The Kingsmen in the 5th inning will bring up Logan Daniel, and then the top of the order for McNeil and Thomas. One-0. Fastball outside edge, clips the zone for strike number 1. Dino Catani shading a couple steps in right field. And Winant set at the letters. A couple of glances. Now lifts the left leg. Slider inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two balls and 1 strike after the curveball missed in. And a fly ball off of a fastball. Coming in on it, De La Cruz, a long way to go. Matt De La Cruz ends the inning with the catch in left. Side retired without a run for back-to-back frames. 8-4, the Kingsmen take the lead into the 5th. To the 5th inning we go here in Statesboro, Georgia. Kingsmen and Georgia Premier. Logan Daniel leads things off at the bottom of the Kingsmen order and pokes it into right center field. Coming in on it is Richards, and he collects for the first out of the inning. Top of the order for the Kingsmen, McNeil and Thomas next to hit, with Hart waiting in the wings. Kingsmen have scored in every inning of the contest. They'll look to continue to apply pressure. Tatum McNeil digs in. He is 0 for 3, but has reached on an error. Took a ball high for ball 1. He's hit a couple of balls hard today. Hard ground ball at short and a fly ball out to center field. 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Nice. 2-0 hits the inside corner for McNeil. Travis Adderley is the new pitcher for Georgia Premier. We saw him in East Cobb. He was the reliever that came in for Riley Cates. And McNeil takes a walk here with 1 away. Eli Thomas with 1 on and 1 out here in the 5th. A hot day here in the Peach State of Georgia. Kenny McNeil off of first base. Adderley out of the stretch, fires on the first pitch. On the outside, Thomas. He goes 0-1. Adderley coming set at the belt. And now picks over to first, and it gets away. McNeil will sprint down to second. Caden McNeil into second base on the air from the pitcher. So Thomas working with the man in scoring position. 1 away. Corner, at least the third base corner, is in. Pitch to Thomas. Got the knees to make it 1-1. 0-2 is the count. And it's inside, and it hit Thomas. McNeil heads back to second. He had broken when the ball was in the dirt. Thomas on for the 3rd time in a row. It's been a great day at the plate for him. Mound visit for Georgia Premier will step aside here in the 5th. Montgomery Hart up with runners on second and first after the mound visit. Adderley's first pitch to Hart is outside into the right-hand batter's box, and the count is 1-0. Time called. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 away here in the 5th. The Kingsmen sporting a 4-run lead in the series finale, trying to avoid the sweep. Slide step, outside corner fastball to make it 1-1. Gummy in the ball game is 0 for 2 with a fly out and ground out, but he did walk his first time around. Runner on the move to third, throw down, and it gets into left field. McNeil sprinting for the plate. Throw comes in. McNeil to a dive is safe. Caden McNeil steals third and comes home as the ball got to the outfield. 9-4. So double steal, and then the run comes in. 5-run lead, 2-1 is the count. Montgomery Hart hitting with now just a man on second base. Outside, 3-1 is the count. Bernie on deck, who's 3 for 3. Been a good day at the plate for the Kingsmen hitters after a frustrating first 2 games of this series. 3-1 outside. Gummy walks for the second time, and there's runners on second and first once again. And now the ball has gotten away from the pitcher, and Eli Thomas, taking full advantage, is on third. And a mound visit will take Adderley out of this game. Runners on the corners, 1 out, step aside. New pitcher on the mound when we come back for Georgia Premier. The 5th inning continues here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network, and Christian Burney heads to the plate. 3 for 3. He's had a big day. And the kid going to try to stay hot against a new pitcher, and it's not a new pitcher to the game, just a new pitcher to the mound. Casey McBride moves from shortstop to the rubber. Garibaldi heads to short. He was an extra hitter in the order. And McBride, with runners on the corners, throws a first pitch, and Bernie pokes it to shortstop. Or it's to third, rather, for 1, and then to first, and they scoop it out and have the double play. Christian Burney grounds into a double play. Runner stranded on third base, and we head to the bottom of the 5th. When we get back here, Varsity Baseball on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Here in the bottom of the fifth, it is 9-4. The Kingsmen have the 5-run lead, looking to grab a few more outs as they inch closer and closer to victory. Broda Winan is back out there. Ball one he's thrown now to North Williams. A couple defensive changes to be aware of if you're the Kingsmen. As Winan has the 1-0 hit into left field to Dino Catani, who's back out there. He fields, and the leadoff is on first base here in the fifth. So, defensive changes for the Kingsmen. Montgomery Hart moves into right field. Dino Catani, who was in right, moves back over to left. De La Cruz is out of the game defensively. Harris Clark moves to first base, with Brody Winan still on the mound. Christian Burney at third, Daniel at short, Eli Thomas at second. Catron doing the catching for Winan, who has man on first and nobody out. His first pitch to Seeley, high of the zone for ball one, and then back safely standing up is Williams at first off of the back pitch. Bottom of the fifth, a long day here in Statesboro. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm Griffin Leonard here with Game 2 of today's doubleheader. A reminder that Game 1, unfortunately not streamed, will be posted over the next 24 hours, so be on the lookout for that one if you want to catch up and see what happened. It was a loss for the Kingsmen in 6 innings. And it's downstairs for a ball this time from Winan to make it 2-0. Williams is on first, then Seeley at the plate, Burrows on deck, and Richards in the hole. Seeley had a single and was stranded at third his last time to the plate in the third inning. 2-0. At the letters, a called strike from Catron, framing that one down as Winan found the zone to make it 2-1. Infield set to turn a couple here early on in the fifth inning with the leadoff man on base. Winan with the glove over his face, now comes set at the chest. Fires a fastball right down the gut and through the bat of Lamar Seeley. It's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's Seeley and then Burrows. Brody Winan, the right-hander, in relief for Harris Clark, who's at first. And the bench missed the outside corner drop by Catron, which didn't help the case. 3-2 with the runner on first and nobody out. Full count here with nobody out. Georgia Premier trying to start a rally. 3-2 pitch, runner on the move. Hit high in the air to left field. Going back on it is Catani, flipping around and now watches as it lands over his head. Whips it into Daniel in the infield. Runners get the stop sign, and it's a double from Lamar Seeley to put runners on second and third with nobody out here in the fifth. Dino Catani was back on it from the jump, but just could not make up the ground before the wall. Here is Amari Burrows, who grounded out into that wacky fielder's choice. 3-5-2-3 for the scoreboard fanatics at home. Runners on second and third, big lead for the Kingsmen, but every run off the board certainly helps. So Winan going to dig deep here with nobody out of the windup. First pitch. Burrows takes outside for a ball. Middle of the order, churning for Georgia Premier. An offensive game that has looked a little bit more like when these two teams matched up in East Cobb. 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. That was a game that saw the Kingsmen win 10-7, taking that middle game of 3 that they played against various teams in Georgia. (1-1). Tipped into the glove of Catron. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little bit different than the 5-0 Game 1 loss and 12-2 Game 2 loss that we have seen here in Statesboro. Kingsmen looking for the Game 3 win. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the pitch. To the breaking ball he goes and gets the strikeout. Catron applies the tag, and there's 1 away. Amari Burrows goes down for the first time today with the strikeout. And it's the first K for Wynant. 1 out here in the 5th. Julian Richards struck out swinging his last time, the second to last strikeout that Harris Clark had in his start. Fastball outside for ball 1. Infield going to stay back here given the lead. They'd trade a run for an out, trying to keep a big inning from forming. It's the right fielder at the dish, right-hand side against the right-handed throwing Brody Wynant. And a 1-0 count for the Kingsman reliever. Top of the zone strike, 1-1. One pitch. Slider, front doored it, 1-2. 1-2 after the breaking ball found the zone. Back to the curveball. It's tapped third base side. Bernie on the dive will go to second, but spiked the throw in the dirt, and it's into shallow right field. Bernie's after it himself, but it's fielded by Montgomery Hard. 1 run is scored, and everyone is safe. Now, as far as the execution, of course, that's a different story. But as far as the heads-up play from Bernie of what to do there, second to none, he just could not make the throw shortly after picking himself up from the dive. So 9-5 is the score, bottom of the 5th. A 4-run lead still for the Kingsmen. And Tyler Knowles, the next to hit.
Tyler, all you. Head on it.
Runner moving as that one thrown down, and Brody Wynant tried to catch it at the pitcher position, tipped off his glove and took the momentum out of the throw, and the run will come in to score.
Tyler.
Brody Wynant got spun around trying to catch that baseball. Checking to make sure Brody Wynant's okay. It's now a 9-6 ball game. The Kingsmen with that first and third play trying to get the pitcher to catch the throw down to second with the opportunity to get the runner at third if they were starting to inch off. Did not work, and the run comes in to score. Wynant's going to throw a couple of pitches to make sure he's okay to stay in this ball game. Wynant's all good to go, and the game will resume here. 1-0 is the count. Tyler Knowles has not been retired yet in this ball game. He's batting with a runner on second and a 3-run deficit. 2 already in the frame for Georgia Premier. This game far from over. Fastball hit third base side. Bernie to a dive again. This time he'll go to first, and that is an excellent throw to get Knowles. How about Christian Bernie playing that third base bag and making the play at the hot corner? Second time he's gone to a dive to make a play today. Could not get the out the first time around going to second. He makes a good throw to first this time to get Knowles. Pinch hitter for Georgia Premier, and it's Appleboom hitting. We saw him last game, Dylan Appleboom, pinch hitting for Torrin Helms. That one to the backstop, and that will allow the runner to head to third. One 1-0 is the count with 2 away. Runner on third, that the defense won't be focused on him. Winant's pitch off the plate outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Dylan Appleboom, one of the fan favorites of his teammates here at the ballpark. 0 for 3 in the last one, but he did reach on an error. 2-0. 2 balls and a strike. Out of the windup. Winant trying to get the Kingsmen out of the 5th. 2-1 pitch. Fastball low and in. 3 balls and a strike. No bullpen action for the Kingsmen recently, but you would also assume that the next move may be made to somebody already in the field to play. A little bit tough to get them warmed up. Some encouragement from the dugout as Winant throws the 3-1 and misses high and tight for a ball. Appleboom walks, and the tying run comes up to the plate here in the 5th in Gian Garibaldi. Play on here with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Brody Winant has worked all the way through the order, and he's facing Gian Garibaldi for the 2nd time. 12th hitter that Winant has faced. He's worked an inning and 2/3 already. Winant coming set out of the stretch with the runners on the corners. Side step, first pitch, a fastball just off the plate inside. In the 6th for the Kingsmen, we will see Catani, Winant, and Catra. Winant glancing at first a couple of times, now comes set. Behind in the count, 1-0. Slide step delivery and hits the zone. One ball and 1 strike here with 2 away. A little bit of a lead off of first for Appleboom. He shuffles off, and a ball's popped into shallow left field. Coming in on it is Catani, racing in, and somebody made the catch. Who has the baseball? It's Caden McNeil. Caden McNeil rushes over and makes the catch. A little communication could have been beneficial in the situation, but they make the out. We head to the 6th, and the Kingsmen have a 3-run lead as we head to the game's final 2 innings here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.
go DTD.
We go to the 6th. It is Dino Catani, the left fielder, turned right fielder, turned left fielder. And he leads off the 6th with a taken strike out of the hand of Casey McBride. 0-1.
Go Dino, Rocket League Friday.
0-1. Catani tried to drag, and instead he's behind 0-2. Looked a little hesitant trying to lay that bunt down on the third base side once he saw the horizontal movement. 0-2. Catani takes the slider off the plate outside. 1-2. Wynant's up next, and he is on deck. Catron following. Pitcher and catcher following Catani. That one spiked in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the 6th. 9-6 ball game. It's been a high-scoring affair. More runs than the game earlier this morning at this point, with 15 total scored between the two teams. And that one's poked up the middle and into center field. Dino Catani, much like Christian Burney, has his 3rd hit of the ball game. He's reached all 4 times he's been up to the plate. Brody Wynant next to hit. Done a good job in relief of Harris Clark to keep the Kingsmen in a winning position. 2 runs in the last inning from Georgia Premier put them with a shoe back into this ball game. Wynant trying to drop one down and pulls back, dropped his body down to get out of that high breaking ball.
Go B-Dub.
1-0 counts. McBride out of the stretch. Runs one inside again on Wynant. And it's 2-0. Hitters count for Brody Wynant. Runner on the move. And he pops it up foul.
Out.
Oh, no, I hit it on my helmet.
Wynant took a big swing at that 2-0 pitch, had the green light. Catani was on the move, but he had to retreat because of the foul ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Catani shuffling off a first. And it looked like he started to break for second and then maybe got just a bad jump and retreated. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Ready, huh? Gotta be strike.
3-1 with nobody out. And Catani will have to head back to first. That 3-1 pitch was at the top of the zone. My guess would be a hit and run was on, and Preston Hudak yelling "take late," trying to get Wynant to hold back that swing, but the swing came through, and it's 3-2 after the foul ball. Catani, for the 2nd time in the at-bat, broke for second and has to head back to first. 3-2. And Catani took a step towards second and gets picked off. Good throw from McBride. And Catani unlucky that time. He was clearly trying to take the bag again, and that time got picked off. So 1 out here in the 6th. 3-2 still remains the count. Brody Wynant now hitting with the bases empty. Full count pitch. And it's hit into the air to right field. Going back on it is Richards. He goes to a dive and cannot get there. That ball's into the corner. Wynant spinning around and heading to third. And he is in there, standing up with a 1-out triple. How about Brody Wynant? Hit of the game in style. He's 90 feet away from scoring here in the 6th with 1 away for Jack Catron. It's a good route to it from Richards. Julian Richards laying out, but unable to get there, and then the ball squirted away. And Wynant hustling hard, got all the way to third base. Now he's going to come out of the game, a courtesy runner being called in. and that will be Matt De La Cruz, who we saw very briefly in the outfield, but did not get an at-bat. He is in as the courtesy runner, and the infield is in for Georgia Premier here in the 6th. Wind-up pitch from McBride, and Catron lets it go downstairs 1-0. 1-0 pitch. And he chops at third base side. De La Cruz retreats. Throw across the diamond in time from Bankston. And there are 2 down. Tough one for Catron. Got it in play, hit it softly. But because of the spot it was hit, unable to give De La Cruz the opportunity to come in and score. So here is Harris Clark hitting in the place of A.J. Griffith. Griffith had a great day at the plate today. 1 for 2 he reached on 2 occasions with a single and a walk. Clark watches ball 1 go downstairs. That one is in there for a strike.
There you go. There you go. Come on, here. Hey, right here. Right here, 2-8.
1-1 with 2 outs. Harris chops the third base side. Tough play for Bankston. Comes up throwing, and it sails into right field. De La Cruz scores, and Harris Clark hustles it out. We'll see how it's scored, but it's 10-6 regardless. Error assessed to DJ Bankston is the official word. Runner on the move, ball outside, and the throw down to second in time to get Harris Clark. North Williams is having a series behind the plate. Credit to the catcher. He has thrown out a number of Kingsmen. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Kingsmen grab 1 to answer. They lead by 10, or they lead 10-6 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th, 10-6. Kingsmen lead. Brody Wynant still on the mound in relief of Harris Clark. Trying to bring the Kingsmen one step closer to victory here. They face the top of the order after Devin Davidson. Wynant's behind 1-0. First strike of the inning to bring it to 1-1. Take there to bring it. Colton Ridgway, number 27, is the pinch hitter for Georgia Premier. 2-1. In there for a strike to make it 2-2. So Devin Davidson's day is over after 2 at-bats, or rather 2 plate appearances. He went 0 for 1 with a walk. 2 strikes on Ridgway for the top of the order awaits their turn. Wynant gets a ground ball, third base side, tough play. Bernie coming in, collects, throws, low but out. Birdie making plays down at third base today. 1 out here in the 6th. Zorn Galloway next to hit for the 4th time. 3 complete trips around the order. He'll be the 34th hitter of the day for Georgia Premier. 1 out here at the bottom of the 6th. The 10-6 ball game. The Kingsmen up 4, looking for a win to wrap up their road trip. Just off the plate for ball 1 to Zorn Galloway. Had a single his last time, reaching for the 2nd time in a row. He's walked. He had a ground out to the first baseman, the time that was Montgomery Hart, to start the game. In there for a called strike, 1-1. Outfield of Catani, McNeil, and Gummy Hart. Clark, Thomas, Daniel, and Bernie right to left around the infield. Catron doing the catching. He sets up shop with the 1-1 pitch. Brody misses high with the curveball. 2-1. Casey McBride flipping the ball to the home plate umpire, the current pitcher for Georgia Premier. He stands on deck. 2 balls and 1 strike here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. It's Brody Wynant throwing the pitch. Fastball poked foul. 2-2. A hot day, a long day here in Statesboro. Over 5 hours since the first pitch of game number 1. And we are reaching our conclusion slowly but surely as the 2-2 off the inside part of the plate. Brody Wynant on his 2nd time through the order so far. Only has the 1 strikeout. He struck out Amari Burrows. Looking for another here. 3-2. Outside and a walk. Put Galloway on. Pretty close to the score the last time Kingsmen won in this matchup. They won that game 10-7 in Georgia against Georgia Premier in East Cobb, the ABA kickoff that saw the Kingsmen go 1-2 at the varsity level, 2-0 at the prospect level. We'll walk you through next week's schedule in just a moment. Brody Wynant pitching to Catron with a runner on first and 1 away. Low and away on the curveball, 1-0. Kingsman prospect back at it on Monday. Rays Collegiate in town out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That prospect series gets going on Monday with a single game at Caramont Health Park, the ABA opener in Gastonia for the Kingsmen. Splitting time between Caramont and Gardner-Webb. There's a quick throw from Harris over to the first base, or rather from Brody over to Harris at the first base bag. One ball and no strikes. The Kingsmen have a prospect game on Monday, as there's another pickoff. That time he gets by, and it heads out of play. To second base goes Galloway as a result of the error on the pitcher Wynant. One game on Monday against the Rays, and then it'll be games on Tuesday, a doubleheader. Rays Collegiate in town against the Kingsmen. And then Friday, 1 week from today, it'll be a non-conference battle with P27 for the Varsity group. Doubleheader in Lexington, South Carolina. It'll be the first of 2 consecutive weeks that the Kingsmen play non-conference doubleheaders at the home of the Lexington County Blowfish and the home of P27 Blacksmiths. 2-0 is the count. Wynant trying to set up shop. Logan Daniel crashed over to second for a pickoff opportunity, but he may have crashed a little bit too soon as Wynant was not ready to make the throw over. 2 balls and no strikes. Hitters count. The pitch to McBride is on the outside half of the strike zone. Called a strike by our home plate umpire. It's 2-1. Popped up and foul behind home plate. 2-2. After McBride, it will be DJ Bankston, who is 0 for 2 today. McBride 0 for 2. He has walked and he has reached on an error. Popped out his last time. What will he do against Wynant here? 2-2 pitch. Pop up into center. A yell of frustration as Caden McNeil, looking into the sun, makes the catch. No tag for Galloway. And the second out of the inning is recorded. Kingsmen trying to shut down Georgia Premier here in the 6th. Pick off, but no throw over to second. Trying to keep that runner Galloway honest. 4-run lead for the Kingsmen. Wynant has been in since the 3rd inning in relief of Harris Clark. And after the Kingsmen threw a lot of pitchers in that first game of the doubleheader, is a good sign to see Brody working as well as he is. That's a curveball in there for strike number 1. 62 pitches for Brody Wynant through now 3 2/3 innings. Trying to finish off his 4th. 0-1 with Galloway on second. The ball ripped into center field. That'll get down and likely score a run. McNeil fields. Runner coming around, and the throw goes into second base. They concede the run, and it's 10-7. Off of the base hit by DJ Bankston. 3-run lead it remains still for the Kingsmen. North Williams, who has been perhaps the defensive star of the series for Georgia Premier, is going to come up in this big spot, but not before Coach Joe Hudak has a chat with Brody Wynant. We'll step aside and be right back in 30 seconds on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Three-run ball game here as the sixth continues. Mound visit over with the runner on first base. Brody Wynant throws a breaking ball off the inside half, 1-0. In the seventh, the Kingsmen will bring up the bottom of the order, Logan Daniel. Ball downstairs makes it 2-0. Daniel, then McNeil and Thomas. Due up. Those three led off the fifth inning. One ball, no strikes. Or rather, two balls and no strikes now. And now 3-0. Snow cone by Katrin off the plate outside. After Williams, it'll be Lamar Seeley if the inning continues. He's on deck. Would serve as the tying run. 3-0 inside corner fastball, 3-1. And that ball lifted into left field. Catani staring up into the sky, using the glove as a shield, and makes the catch to send us to the seventh. The Kingsmen hold firm, giving up one run, and it is 10-7. We send it to our game's final inning. The Kingsmen looking to wrap it up and grab a win here in Statesboro. Into the seventh we go. Logan Daniel leads things off against Casey McBride and takes the ball upstairs. Griffin Leonard here for you. The final game of the week for the Kingsman Baseball Academy. Chop ball third base side, fielded cleanly by Bankston. He goes across the diamond and has Logan Daniel for the first out of the inning. Tough day for Logan at the plate. Kaden McNeil steps in with one away and the base is empty. Reached twice, but hitless. Looking for a way on here with one out. Takes the off-speed pitch at the knees, called strike one. Out of the windup, McBride's 0-1 is high, and now the count is even. But a fun series here in Statesboro. Georgia Premier, great hosts. Thank them for the hospitality over the course of the 3-game series. There's a swing and a miss by McNeil to make it 1-2. Curious to hear Coach Preston's thoughts after the conclusion of today's doubleheader. 2-strike pitch swung on and missed by Kaden McNeil, and he goes down swinging for the second time in this second game. Eli Thomas next to hit with 2 outs. Kingsmen will be looking to preserve a 3-run lead when we come back out in the bottom of the 7th, unless they're able to pad to it just a little bit more. And you're looking to do that? Well, Eli Thomas, the way he's swinging right now, pretty good guy to send to the plate. He fouls off strike one. He's reached his last 3 times, with Montgomery Hart and Christian Burney awaiting in the shadows. Kingsman would love to get Eli on one more time. It's been a good day for the youngster. 0-1 with 2 outs here in the 7th. McBride lifts the leg and comes home and misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Haven't seen any inklings of bullpen action for the Kingsmen. You would assume with that means Winan will at least start the 7th. Pop-up, foul, strike 2. One and 2 is the count to Thomas. Hard on deck if the inning continues. McBride out of the right-hand windup. And a hard line drive hit, bounced on a couple to Bankston, and he throws out Eli Thomas. But another good piece of the bat on ball for Eli. We will head to the bottom of the 7th. The Kingsmen blanked for the first time in the game. They've scored in every inning but the 7th. They'll look to have that streak stay the same for Georgia Premier. A shutout would wrap things up when we get back. To the bottom of the 7th we go, the final half inning of this one in Statesboro. Montgomery Hart is on to close for Wynant. First pitch Gummy throws is high. Mentioned it earlier, there hadn't been any bullpen action. Well, that's of course because Gummy was in the hole, so how's he supposed to warm up? Just missed the zone, and it's 2-0. Lamar Seeley is the hitter. Brody Wynant with an excellent job out of the bullpen, relieving Harris Clark. He stands in right field now, where he began the game. Hart finds the zone for the first time with a 3-0 pitch that sunk in there. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Kingsmen with a 3-run lead, looking to close this one out. And now 3-2. Gummy looking for the save. Seeley, Burrows, and Richards here chasing the lead, and that ball cranked into left center field. Going back on it is McNeil, and that one is off of the wall on a couple of hops. Lead off extra bases, and running and stopping at second is Lamar Seeley. You have a feeling if it was a one-run game, he would have tried for third, but with that run being the first of many that they need, you don't want to run yourself into an out, so it's a leadoff double for Lamar Seeley. And here comes Amari Burrows. It's a good piece of bat on ball. 390 out in center, so it'd take quite the shot to clear that fence out there, but he gave it a good ride. Leadoff double, and here is Hart pitching to the center fielder, Burrows. Some noise coming from the Georgia Premier dugout trying to will their team back into this contest. Hart lifts the leg and comes home, and a foul ball shook up Catron a little bit, and it's 0-1. Foul ball shook up Catron, and a delay as he recomposes himself. He looks uninjured. The perils of catching. Oh, and 1 with nobody out after the foul ball. Catron good to continue, and so is Amari Burrows, who steps back in right-hand side. Montgomery Hart stands tall atop the mound. The runner on second and nobody out, trying to finish this ball game, but a win in the win column for Kingsmen Varsity. 1-1 pitch, high. That was actually the 0-1 pitch, now 1-1. One hit in the air to left, shallow. Calling off Bernie is Daniel, staring up into the sky, makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Pop up in shallow left brings about out number 1. Here's Julian Richards, the Kingsmen 2 outs away. 10-7 was the score. The time the Kingsmen won earlier on this season in East Cobb. They've since dropped 2 straight to the Red Sox, but looking to avoid the series sweep and tie the season series. Slider off the plate. One ball, no strikes. Runner on second and 1 away. Gummy strides forward and ran it inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Just evading the forearm of Julian Richards. Tyler Knowles would hit, assuming that this game doesn't find an odd conclusion. 2-0. High for ball 3. Gummy Hart coming off the bench, or rather coming out of the field and taking his place on the mound for Brody Winan. Winan pitched 4 innings in relief for Harris Clark. Just 3 runs. And now a strike in there to make it 3-1 as Hart finds the top of the zone. Once again, the Kingsmen varsity group back at it 1 week from today against P27 in Lexington. Shorter road trip for the guys, and just a day trip to play a doubleheader and come straight on back. 3-1. High and in. The tying run coming up to the plate here in the 7th for Tyler Knowles. Things starting to get a little bit interesting. Instructions from the coaching staff in the dugout. Knowles ripped it to Bernie, who fielded it with that diving stop last time. This time he watches the first pitch curveball slip in there for strike number 1. Oh and 1 is the count with 1 away. Force out at any base but home for the Kingsmen. And another spinner in there for 0 and 2. Gummy finding his control when it matters. The 9 spot in the order is up on deck, but there's a pinch hitter waiting in the wings. We'll see who hits for Dylan Appleboom. Tyler Knowles behind 0 and 2. Here's Gummy's 2-strike pitch, and he got him. Breaking ball away, and he got the chase. 2 away here in the 7th. Jace Woods, wearing the number 22, is the pinch hitter for the team trailing. Georgia Premier looking for a late spark, and Woods is going to be the man needed to provide it. 10-7, tying run at the plate. First pitch from Gummy, poke foul. 0 and 1. Dribbled back of home plate. Ian Garibaldi will hit if this game continues. Kingsmen looking to wrap it up right here. Varsity team has dropped 3 straight, looking big win on the road, and it's 1-1 as that curveball missed off the plate. The shade has encompassed the ballpark here. Gummy throws the 1-1. In there at the top of the zone, taking the ball in. 1 strike away. Kingsmen looking to avoid the series sweep and grab a big win away from home here in ABA play. Runners on second and first is Ian Richards. Hart set at the belt. The 1-2 pitch. Poked into right field, chasing it. Brody Winan came in with a huge relief appearance, and he catches the final out as the Kingsmen win the ball game here in Statesboro. Final score 10-7 as the Kingsmen find their way to a series closing win against the Georgia Premier Red Sox. They go 1 and 2 in the series, 2 and 4 overall, but it's a win to wrap things up, and it's a win that they'll be happy about. Handshakes all around between the two teams who meet for the final time in the regular season. And 10-7 is the final. For the second time these two teams have played, the Kingsmen just find a way to win by that scoreline against these Red Sox. So, for the final time, 10-7 your final score. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long from Georgia Premier. We'll be back on Monday at Caramont Health Park for some Kingsmen prospect baseball against Rays Collegiate. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining us here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.